Well, every now and then, some of us get to running our mouths at any time. So, and Kelly walks in, so we got to catch up.
Yeah.
That's right.
We had
That's
to
right.
brief you on everything that we've been talking about for the last 2 days.
Mhm.
'Cause some
Last
of it
30 minutes,
some
we
of-
get in here in the morning.
Some
we
of it
just,
I forgot, and then of course we have our neighbor to come in, and
And then we have to talk about pups.
then we got to talk about doggies.
Mhm.
And it is the one thing. Good morning, I'm Rayford Brown.
I'm Kelly Knapp.
I'm Lee Barrels.
And so let's go back to the pups for just a second. I get to walk the doggies, our granddaughter's dog, and our dog.
Uh-huh.
One of our dogs. The big one won't walk.
Oh yeah, he don't like to walk.
Not with the
lazy.
crowd. I can take him and walk him
Yeah.
alone, but he would prefer to just go out in the backyard by himself.
Yeah.
He's one of those. But these two little 8.5 pounders walking, and they are active,
hmm
wide, blankety open,
Mhm.
and a line. I can pull on my boat. I have pulled as many as 10 lines at one time on a 10 line spread. Some of them down deep, some of them way back, some of them just right in the prop wash, some of them on outriggers. It's out there.
And not tangled,
And
nary a one.
I'll get her tangled unless something really major stupid happens. But these two, I can't walk from here to the end of the driveway without that line already. There's 2 lines already going around. I spend
get
more
it.
time untangling lines. Going to,
Yeah.
okay,
I know.
anyway, enough of that
Yeah.
frivolity. Is that what they call it?
They make
Nonsense.
those leashes now where you have more than one line and they're supposed to be tangle free.
They haven't met.
No.
They have not met Shockwave and Lucille,
I
have
have
they?
the
Right.
same issues with mine. And wrap around your legs, around each
Uh-huh,
other,
yeah, uh-huh.
up underneath their bellies.
And
And I'm like,
God help me when I come up on a mailbox or a paper box.
oh, yes.
One's going to go one way around it, the other's going to go the
Mhm.
other way.
hmm
Yes.
And they're bound and determined. They're not, I don't care how hard you pull them, they're stubborn. They will not come back around the
Of
way they
course
went.
not.
Or either one stops to do their business because there's something about mailboxes
Oh,
they have to
yeah.
wet on every one of them
Uh-huh.
going down the road.
And the other one wants to keep going.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's right. Okay. It's 7:03. Good morning. Welcome to the Wednesday edition of Live and Local Real Talk. And we appreciate y'all bearing with us because I know you have some of the same issues out there, don't you?
Yes.
you got a
Anyone with a
dog or
pet.
two.
Yes.
Even when I walk one dog alone, he will go and go around me, and then I got to try to flip that leash over.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of wild, fun.
Oh, yeah. It's a workout. It's a workout for the dog walkers.
All
believe
right,
me.
lots going on today. Coming up in about 25 minutes, we've got Dr. Rosemary Stein, and we got questions already. We got one or two posed by Theo yesterday. He's our resident guest questioner.
Mhm.
So we'll throw that one out there this morning. We haven't forgotten. So we got it, and it's timely. So it's actually very timely. So we'll take care of that this morning. If you have some questions you would like to ask Dr. Rose, give us a call now and pose it to us. She's a pediatrician. She's been heavily involved in the educational system. She ran the first time I met her. She was running for the superintendent of public schools here in North Carolina. And to me and my personal beliefs, especially since then I've gotten to know her, it's a shame she didn't get elected because she could bring a lot to that position.
That's when I first met her back in
Mhm.
2015.
So anyway, we'll be talking with her, and not so much politics, but today's going to have to involve just a little bit of politics based upon the things that are going on dealing with illegals and some of those that are in our schools and all that sort of good stuff. So we're gonna pose Theo's question to her this morning. Everything good with you, ladies?
Everything
good.
was great.
Going to bring up something here. Y'all know that I support the Second Amendment. Do you think that I do?
Oh, yeah, I know you do.
Yeah.
I know the rest of us do too.
Well, I do. That's a fact, Jack.
Right.
But society, now, don't get me wrong. I will support the Second Amendment. It's there. I support it. I like it. It's simple. It's keep it simple, stupid written. And the Supreme Court has said that it's very easily interpreted. You don't have to interpret it. What you see is what you get. But society has rightfully added restrictions under certain conditions to own guns, possess guns, or carry guns, correct? A convicted felon, especially one convicted of a violent act, should not have that right. Do we have that in agreement there? We good with that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Convicted.
Mhm.
Of course, a minimum age has been added to the criteria. Okay. That doesn't mean that your 10, 12, 11, 13-year-old kid can't go hunting with you because he's under your supervision. That's also part of what most of the states have. Those who have been deemed mentally incompetent. Okay, now here we're going to go into some thin ice. Should be restricted from having guns. Mentally incompetent, as they also should be restricted from having other things. Cars and driver's licenses would be a couple of those restrictions. There are people out there that we know who are kind of on the, what is your official terminology for those who are, I'm not talking about a mental illness. A lot of people have various degrees of mental illness, but mentally incompetent, there's a big difference, right?
Being mentally incompetent means you have been deemed incompetent by a judge, and means you are unable to make decisions for yourself.
Okay. Now, how about for those out there who may not have made it to the system yet to see the judge, but say they are. Here's the sticky part. You guys have got a problem in the counseling business, in the medical profession. It's called HIPAA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you know you have a client coming in and he's talking about, or he's doing things, you feel comfortable or uncomfortable having the client perhaps, but comfortable in knowing that poses a danger to himself or others. What can you do about it?
You can have them involuntary committed
Not-
for.
but suppose he hasn't done anything like that, but suppose he, in your personal opinion, you don't have enough to take it to the judge.
Then you can't do anything about it.
Yeah, wonderful. That's where it gets kind of sticky on the in the mental capacity, should be whatever. But anyway, those folks should be restricted from having guns and cars and driver's licenses and stuff like that. The issue, these are my personal opinions. The issue is how mentally incompetent does a person have to be to pose a threat to himself or to others? You just heard the legal issues that you have to deal with. The added problem is having those experts in the field to call people like Kelly or to psychiatrists. The HIPAA Act comes into play. They can't go tell the judge about it.
Can't tell anybody about it.
That's
You
what I
can't
mean.
tell a spouse. You
Uh-huh.
can't tell
Yeah.
anybody. You have to
Uh-huh.
have a release.
And
Yeah.
you're not going to get it.
No.
So there are issues. Some states have rather lax gun laws, though. You ready? You got your seatbelt on? A man in Indiana, he wanted to test the system in Indiana. In Indiana, he applied for a concealed handgun permit. It's a process that they don't require you to go through any classes, don't have to show that you can actually pull the trigger on a gun and hit something. He got cleared for it all the way through, carrying his white tip cane. He's blind.
What?
Tighten that seatbelt. In Indiana and apparently a few other states, you can be blind and be given a permit.
What?
You do not have to show that you can hit a target, or more importantly, to show that you won't miss the target, putting innocent people at risk. In a growing number of states, you don't have to take any courses. You don't have to prove you're competent with a handgun. You just have to be legally of age, qualified to own or possess one. You must be old enough and have no criminal record. Got it? I'm all for those who want to carry a gun be allowed to do so. I would feel much better, knowing anyone carrying a gun had been trained to use that gun. Hunters in North Carolina and other states generally have to take a hunter safety course when they first get a hunting license. Those who have been hunting all their lives are generally exempt from that requirement. Just some thoughts after reading that case of the blind man in Indiana. He got his concealed carry permit without taking any courses or a test. He's the one who did this because he wanted to challenge this inept law. If he can get a gun permit, why can't he get a driver's license? In North Carolina, there's a little bit, it varies from state to state, I'm sure, but I don't know anything about any other state. Don't care to. There's nothing in our state constitution that says we have a right to have or get a driver's license. It's a privilege, and it's up to the state DMV whether we can actually have one. If they say that when you come through that door, they don't feel that you're competent to drive a car, they don't have to give you a license. Did you know that?
I did know that,
Yes,
actually.
it is a privilege. It is not a right. There's a difference. The Constitution has nothing to do with driving a car.
Well, I want to add one quick thing, though, to something we said earlier.
Okay.
In terms of counseling, counselors, psychiatrists, psychologists, and licensed social workers, there is such a thing called duty to warn. And if an individual that you're conducting counseling with makes some kind of statement that leads, basically that they're going to harm someone, and they, I'm going to go out and I'm going to shoot Rayford today or whatever, you're required to warn law enforcement.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
What can you say to law enforcement?
You can give them their name. You can tell them who the intended victim is.
Okay.
Where, because sometimes, and this all stemmed from a case years ago where the person didn't warn and the victim was killed. And now it's required. I mean, it's one thing before it's even a question on the licensing exam. Like you have to, if someone was to tell you that,
Good.
They just can't say, I just want to kill everybody. That's a broad statement. But if they say, I'm going to go kill Rayford.
Boy, this guy has really ticked me off. I listen to him in the mornings and I'm going to go get him this afternoon.
And
Afternoon is good.
Just call me first.
Yeah.
so,
Afternoon is
I'll be
good.
gone.
but you have a duty to warn, and you
Good.
could lose your license, and even, other things could happen to you if you did not over something like that.
Well, I'm sure there would be civil suits. If you
Oh.
didn't do it, there's
Yeah.
probably a
Why
criminal
would you
charge
not?
that would be brought.
Yeah.
Negligence on your part.
Yeah. So,
Okay, let's go to some good news. Another Newport man has been busted on child porn charges. What's going on in Newport?
I have nothing else to do, I guess.
keep reading this stuff about Newport. James Wayman is charged with multiple counts after a search of his home turned up evidence that he had all sorts of equipment that deputies say was used to traffic the porn. Wayman remains in the Carteret County Detention Center under a $500,000 bond. He's got a comfortable place to be.
Yeah, $500,000.
Warm
Good.
and cozy, and you get a couple of meals a day. Two Beaufort men. Let's go back to Carteret County here. Two Beaufort men were arrested in late January accused of selling drugs in the proximity of a school. That's what they call it.
Not good.
That'll get you. 40-year-old Michael S. Campbell and 44-year-old Zebulon H. Scoburn are chilling in a jail cell in Carteret County following an investigation that included numerous undercover drug purchases. The investigators say both men were actively selling methamphetamine near the Beaufort Middle School. Ruh-roh. Reports indicate Campbell was traveling out of state to obtain a supply of meth and returning to Carteret County so he could distribute it. The Carteret Sheriff's Office did a traffic stop on Campbell. Obviously, they had inside information. As he was entering the county back on January 22nd, a canine alerted detectives to the presence of narcotics, and a search of the vehicle resulted in the seizure of almost 60 grams of methamphetamine. Campbell was arrested and remains in jail under $250,000 secured bond.
There you go.
He was convicted of selling drugs about 20 years ago in Iredell County. Did no time. Scoburn was arrested the next day at his residence. Scoburn is under another $250,000 secured bond, charged with a host of drug violations. Scoburn has no criminal record in North Carolina. My. So, They had a spotting up in Pamlico County, they think, of Mr. Nye, the guy who jumped or who managed to
Oh,
sneak out of the
yes.
Craven County Jail about 10 days ago. They're actively looking for him.
They're
up that
getting
way.
closer.
Yeah.
They're going to catch him.
Oh, hey, yeah. They're gonna
You know,
catch him.
I'm like, why hasn't he left the state?
If you
Mhm.
got, well,
They always go back. Why is it that they always go back to like their house or
They
their
don't know.
girlfriend's house
they
or
don't know where,
who
but-
grandma's house, whatever?
Mhm.
I'd be like, at this point, on some fishing boat, hightailing it out of the country. At this
Yes.
point, but they always go back, make it easy. Like
Go down to the port, get a job,
yeah,
jump
all
on a
that
boat,
stuff.
and leave.
I mean,
Just-
you went through all that. I mean, it don't make sense, but they always do it.
I
don't understand.
How many? You ever read any Smart Crook news?
No.
When you talk
Remember
about
we used to
Smart
do
Crook,
dumb crook. No,
Yeah.
because there's
did you
no
ever read any
such
Smart Crook news?
thing. No.
Why not?
There's no
Yeah,
such
there's
thing
no
as a
such
smart
thing.
crook.
Is that kind of like dumb billionaires?
That's like an unintelligent billionaire. Put those together in a sentence.
I
AOC.
heard that yesterday, and I said,
That was a great lead-in.
"You
wasn't it?
can't be
I know.
stupid
I'm
and
just
become a
like-
billionaire. It doesn't work that
Okay.
way."
Number one, billionaire should be a clue.
Yeah.
Number two, Tesla. Another, Starlink.
Space travel.
Space travel. Yes, SpaceX. I mean,
and I'm sure other
I would
things.
not call that not having intelligence. And
Now,
how do you think a billionaire made his
Who
money?
called Mr. Musk unintelligent billionaire?
AOC.
AOC did.
AOC.
Oh yeah, what's her IQ?
I don't know.
She went to Boston College and graduated with
Did she
several
really go to
degrees in
BC?
economics
Huh.
and stuff, you know, but
Uh-huh.
that doesn't make her.
Basket
Smart.
weaving too.
I heard that statement, and I said,
I was
What?
like,
What is her claim to fame prior to becoming elected?
"Nothing."
I know. You know, because
What?
you told me
What was
she
it?
was a bartender.
Oh, that's right. I didn't know she was a bartender. Yeah, but I don't call that a claim to fame. But
She was just making money to get through
I have
college,
got no
Raven.
problem with that. And
Well, I understand that.
first of all, as I told you, and I've told other people in the past, when I was a news director, and I had two guys coming in, two people, guys or gals,
Mhm.
you know, whatever.
She's an
They got two people come in, equal qualifications. They're both relatively smart. I don't know why they'd be really smart if they wanted to be a reporter, but they do. They go to school. They both graduate from a journalism school or whatever, and they both have similar grades. One might be a B plus, the other may be an A plus. A plus has got spoon fed. Didn't have to work a day to get through school. B plus, he worked as a bartender for 4 years to get through school. And they have equal intelligence. They pass all my other tests. Who gets the job?
I bet you gave it to the bartender.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
The one who has a proven track record of working
the B
And-
plus.
and
People skills.
and people skills.
Yeah,
he
can
can talk
talk.
to people.
That's right.
And in the business that I was in, well, actually a couple of businesses that I was in,
But you need to be able to talk to people
no, you had to be able to listen.
and
You had to
read
be-
people.
You had to be sneaky and be able
Yeah.
to listen to stuff and
Yeah.
just keep it to yourself.
I hear you.
He'd make a great undercover
Mhm.
cop.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Well, before we get to Dr. Rose, I do have something I want a breaking. I don't know if it's breaking, but for all you Sheen,
Oh, yes.
Timu, and whoever
Temu,
shoppers,
yes.
Who?
Sheen.
Sheen and Timu.
Well,
Now I will
guess
admit,
China.
I just bought some
China.
pants from
I
Sheen.
got to go look it up, I guess, right?
But-
I have no clue what that is.
The Postal Service has announced yesterday they are suspending all packages sent over from China and Hong Kong. So if you've ordered anything from Shein, or Temu, but definitely Shein, you probably should consider
Getting your money back.
getting your money back.
Yeah. Cancel that credit
My
card.
package came yesterday, so that
Why'd you
worked.
order it from them?
Shein,
Why?
work clothes and they're cheap.
I ended up canceling
they-
all mine and
do they
uninstalling the apps.
do they last long enough to cover you?
Oh no, I just got them yesterday. I'll let you know.
Everything
Look
I have
super
ordered
cute.
from Timu
Uh-huh.
has
This was-
eventually gone into the garbage.
Yeah,
I
this was
haven't
from Shein.
Yeah.
yeah.
I've ordered from them. In fact, I ordered a nice pantsuit and I had to do a lot of work on altering it before I could even wear it.
Well, I tried
So,
mine on. It all fit perfectly, but
That's good.
we'll see how it holds up. But
Okay.
I
Well,
gotta find a new source of clothes. That's all good.
I get you, girl.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
get you.
a bit up and down weather for the next couple of days. A cold front slipped through overnight. Yes, it did. We'll hang around today with another warm front coming in tomorrow before we're visited by another blasted cold front at week's end. That'll keep maritime conditions rather sloppy offshore. Today, out to 20 nautical miles, 15 to 20 knots, gust to 25 this morning. Seas 4 to 5 feet, 2 to 3 near shore, but you can't get there. Sounds and rivers choppy. Tomorrow, southwesterly winds 10 to 15 knots, increasing to 15 to 20 with gusts to 25 in the afternoon. 4 to 6 feet, 3 to 4 near shore. Sounds and rivers a moderate chop, increasing to choppy in the afternoon. And on Friday, southwesterly winds 15 to 20, gusts to 25, becoming westerly around 10 knots in the afternoon. Why do we have garbage weather this time of year going into February? Should it be just cool at night, cold at night, warmer during the day, smooth seas, no wind? Because we haven't gotten to March. March when the winds come in, right?
It's just false spring.
Sounds and rivers choppy on Friday too, diminishing to a light chop in the afternoon.
Well, today there's a 40% chance of rain, otherwise cloudy, a high of 58. The winds will be from the northeast at 7 to 9 miles an hour, but we could have 15-mile-an-hour gusts. Tonight, according to this, it is going to rain this evening, and then patchy fog after 9 p.m., so be very careful if you're out driving. Otherwise, cloudy tonight, low of 44. Tomorrow, it will clear throughout the day with a high of 71. The winds will be from the southwest, 6 to 11 miles an hour, and then they could gust up to 18. Tomorrow night, mostly cloudy, low of 59. And on Friday, it'll be partly sunny, but the high will be 73. Then it gets weird, like 65 on Saturday and 78 on Sunday. Dude, pick a...
Bring it. I need to wash windows.
So...
Up and away we go, away down to Guantanamo. Oh, that's pretty good, isn't it? Sounds like the makings for a song.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the song Kokomo? That's what it sounds like. The first wave of illegal aliens that have been rounded up by federal agents are being housed in the same units where we were keeping terrorists captured by our military. These illegals will remain there through processing as they are prepared to be deported to wherever they came from. The first illegals being deported are known criminals, those who should not be in the country in the first place. In a statement, the White House says they illegally entered the United States, felony number 1, and have committed other crimes against U.S. citizens while they've been here, number 2, 3, 4, and 5. President Trump made the decision to round them up from every place they've been hiding, whether it's a sanctuary city or state or not, and send them packing. Good. I'm pretty sure the unofficial population of the United States will go down. Phase 2 of the roundups, once the criminals are deported, will include other illegals who have sneaked into the country and have remained here. The issue with the so-called birthright, meaning that even if illegals sneak here and have a baby born here, is being challenged. It had been long accepted, sort of, that as long as the baby is born inside the U.S., it would be a citizen. There are those that challenge that interpretation, and it's likely going to end up in one or more federal courts, and I will pretty much assure you that at some point in time it'll be in the Supreme Court. Around 150 Marines are at the Naval Station in Guantanamo right now. That's all. They've set up tents for around 1,000 migrants in the other part of the naval base. But those facilities with the latrines and showers are not yet ready for an onslaught of an anticipated 30,000 illegals. That's what the president told them to get ready for. As of today, the facility is understood to have enough beds to cater about 144. Although there is not enough military security for all those beds to be filled just yet. Looks like some additional troops will be moving to Gitmo for a while. Expect that will be happening. So Marines, get ready.
I saw where some from Cherry Point were loading up yesterday onto one of their planes.
Yeah, wonder where the Marines from Lejeune are being sent there.
I haven't
Cherry
heard
Point
anything.
has mostly support staff there, so I'm not sure.
Right. Yeah, but
I don't know
Cherry
that
Point was loading up.
Well, they load up because they're the transportation unit.
Yes.
So
There was a long line of them.
I just wonder if they're from Lejeune, y'all.
You
I
never
haven't seen
know.
any releases from the New River or from the Camp Lejeune main side yet, but we'll find out.
Boy, a lot of things stirred up yesterday in the state, in the nation's capital.
Yeah, Israeli
What?
Prime Minister
Good
Benjamin
Lord.
Netanyahu.
Yes.
He's in town.
Talking about Trump talking about the U.S. taking over the Gaza Strip and rebuilding it and maintaining control over it for years to come.
Until they can let the
Right.
Palestinians move back in,
Right.
minus the terrorists. Hamas, no.
And when the Israel president was with Trump last night during a news conference, one of the media specialists asked him who was responsible for the hostage situation or the hostages being released. Was it the Biden administration or the Trump administration? He said it was President Trump.
I think it was Bill Clinton.
He said, he said we had been in talks, we had been in negotiations, and he said Trump is the best president ever. And I'm like,
See, all of that
well, but the
occurred.
Democrats
All
are
of that occurred before
seething.
Trump was elected president,
right,
and after he was elected, but not in office.
right.
He was doing a whole lot of things there. Lots of activity in Mar-a-Lago.
Yes.
Well, those people were hostages over 400 days. Biden had plenty of time to do whatever. He
Thank
did
you.
nothing. Let's just be, I'm going to call a spade here. They were, what, 400 and, over, let's go 365. I'm just going to make it
A
a
year
year,
and a
make it
half.
easier number to
What-
deal
what-
with. Okay.
No, what did I say?
October
It's been 2
October
years.
7th. Yes.
That was 2 years.
Okay. Yeah. It was, and Biden did nothing
That's
up
800
until,
days.
but so no way if Biden could have done something way farther than when he did 2 weeks before leaving office.
Yeah.
Well, I think you have two different personalities dealing with the president and with Trump versus Biden, and maybe Israel felt.
Yeah, we'll talk about that some more too. We got
Yes.
Dr. Rose coming in here in just a second. But, I saw before the two came out last night at a
Right.
news conference, I was working on some other stuff. It was called Food, and I was
Sounds
watching
good.
in the meantime. I saw Peter Ducey stand up and do a live shot
Yes.
from inside the media room.
Yes.
I've seen a lot of people in that media room before. Nothing like that.
Oh, Peter Ducey's always front and center.
They had so many members of the media
Yes.
there.
Well, they started letting the other ones in. Biden was freezing them out, and I
Well,
do know that they're
yeah.
like, you can come apply.
Sitting on the floor.
Mhm.
There were
Yeah.
so many.
There was basically
Well, I think-
standing room only.
Partly because sometimes you do not know what Trump's going to say.
Well,
Like,
and not only that, but Netanyahu's there. Two of the most powerful leaders in the
in that room.
entire
Yeah.
world
Yeah, I agree
Yes.
with you.
were
Yeah.
there together.
Mhm.
That doesn't happen that often.
I still have
No.
to say I've seen more in the last 2 weeks than I have seen in years.
It's only been 2
With-
weeks yesterday, right? Or
It's just-
Monday.
And after Dr. Stein, we talked to her, we need to talk about the Democratic protest yesterday.
Do they have
Well,
enough
they
Democrats to
protesting.
mount one?
They were protesting Elon Musk and
Oh,
his
yeah.
access in the Treasury Department.
Oh, yeah.
As we heard from
That was debunked.
Congressman Murphy yesterday,
Totally
he
debunked.
debunked the theory that
Mhm.
Elon Musk has information to classified
Mm.
documents.
But he said he
But
did.
already he has found so much what I consider waste in the government. I mean, we paid how many millions of dollars to have a Sesame Street play performed in another country? Or, I mean, I'm going to get the list for y'all of what our tax dollars
Yeah.
have been paying for over the last 4 years. It is outrageous.
Yeah, we make it. they take it.
Transgender coloring books going to another country. Why are we doing that?
Why are we
Who-
not taking care of our own people?
We got a few Marines down here living in the woods. It's cold and it's miserable and it's it's messy.
Exactly.
Yeah, some of them choose that because they want to drop out, but we still should be taking care of them.
But I would tell you some of the comments coming from the Democratic leaders, and I know they're upset, but they are saying, this is war. We need to fight. We need you to fight with us. This is war. This is war.
Against whom?
And against the Republicans, I guess. But
Why
you
not
know, I'm
against
sitting
the-
here listening to
Why
all
not
this.
against the crooks that are coming into this country and killing our people?
I'm
How about a war
thinking
against them?
their words are what they accused Trump of doing
Yes,
on January 6th.
yes, but they're
And
wrong.
they've already, Hakeem Jeffries and Schumer have already initiated a bill to stop the steal. And I'm just like,
Then give up your money.
What happened to we're all going to work together?
Well, you should have known that was lip service.
Yeah, we
but-
know that was lip
but this
service, but the
just-
thing about it is, you should heard they had to keep beeping most of the
Yeah.
conversation on national news. Now I watched it on a YouTube channel; they don't beep, but let me tell you what, it was disgusting. Ridiculous.
Yeah, well, Dr. Rose probably just the first thing she heard was, "It's disgusting." From you, right? Good morning, Doc. How are you?
I am doing well. Curious to see what the conversation was.
We were talking about the Democrats protesting yesterday in front of the Department of Treasury over Elon Musk's involvement with the Treasury in weeding out wasteful spending. And there were several leaders from the Democratic Party that were urging people to fight and claiming that this is a war now.
Those people never been in a war, I'll tell you.
Mm-hmm. To me, they were
have to shake my
inciting
head.
a war.
Yeah, that's about all you can do is shake your head, laugh it off, make sure you stay registered to vote and that you do indeed vote and encourage your neighbors to
Right.
vote. Don't tell them how to vote.
Right.
That's up to them. I don't want you to do that. You can, if they ask you questions, point out the goods, the bads, and the uglies. I can point out goods, bads, and uglies everywhere, but except in this room, I'm the only bad and the ugly.
Don't say that, Ray.
Well, I got the good over here. I'm the bad and the ugly. We're good. So, Doc, we got a question right up front from the Peanut Gallery this morning.
From one of our listeners.
One of our listeners called yesterday or day before, gave us a list of questions to ask a couple of our guests this week. So you're up.
Yeah.
And Lee has the question.
All right.
Oh, I need to ask the question, don't I?
Yeah, I gave it to Rayford to ask because
Okay.
he more or less made a statement. So Rayford's going to put it into question.
I'm
for him.
going to put to you as the question. All right. Now, we know that the new administration has given orders, round up all the criminal elements of illegal aliens in this country, right? And we're going to send them away. That's a fact.
That's correct.
Now,
Yes.
it's also been stated that at some point in time down the road, when they get all of these people, I mean, it may take 20 years, but when they get all of these crooks and deported all of these illegal aliens who have committed crimes in this country, they're then going to go after other elements. At some point in time, it may get down to anybody that has come across the border illegally now or in the past. We don't know what the scenario is going to be, have no idea, that they're going to be brought in, find out if they are illegals, and if they enter the country illegally, and then they're subject to deportation too, and that would include any children that they have. Up in the air right now, because it's been challenged, is this so-called birthright provision of our Constitution. The interpretation that has been used and adopted for many years is that even if an illegal alien comes into the country, a couple or just mom to be pregnant and has a baby here, or not even pregnant, but while she's here, she gets pregnant as an illegal baby, then said baby becomes a citizen. In other words, is legal, right? That's the way things have been interpreted. Trump says that's not the way it's supposed to be. I don't interpret it that way. It'll end up in court. But even, let's just say that parents come across the border illegally with their kids. They're in school, here, there, or everywhere. One of our callers, Theo, his question is, how impactful is that going to be if we've got ICE agents, federal agents going into the schools and picking up the children of illegal aliens? By definition, they would also be illegal, and exporting them. How disruptive would that be to the schools?
To the children. Yes.
It would be extremely, if that happened in the way that was spelled out, which is highly, highly unlikely. It would go the opposite way. You would expel the parents, and with the parents, the children would go. There are plenty of American-born immigrants, to call it something, that are living with family members here. I see it every day in the clinic.
Yep.
So just because you export the adults doesn't mean that the children will go. They have family members who are here legally, who will keep their children because they know that they have a better future here. I can't see in any scenario, and I might be wrong, where you go into schools and get the American-born children and export them separately from the parents. I don't see that happening, but maybe I'm wrong. But in the case that should happen, it would be quite disruptive. It would strike fear in many hearts. And, it would be rather problematic because you're sort of pulling apart what is now the fabric of a community and our society. That's been the problem with allowing people who are illegal to come in and to stay here for years and years and years and ignore it. So this will not be fixed without some pain from all of us, from you and me. If we're not feeling the pain of trying to fix a problem that's been happening for the last 40, 50 years, then we're not fixing it for real.
Yeah.
We've been sort of brushing at it. We took a little bit of swipe and wiped it off a little bit. But to really fix it so that our laws are obeyed, just like when my family came in 70 years ago, the laws are obeyed. This is the way that we do it. Then it's not going to get fixed. And I'm afraid that there will be some heartache, and there will be a lot of it. And I know some of these families, and I love them, and they're very good families, but at some point they weren't law abiding, and they might listen to me and say, that's a mean thing to say. But at some point they broke the law, and there's always a consequence, isn't there, when the laws are broken, and
Yes.
it's going to break all of our hearts.
Yeah. Well, I will tell you that just the run-of-the-mill legal processes here are not illegal aliens or anything like that. A police investigation turns up that Joe Jackson, oh God, I hope he's not listening, Joe Jackson, who has been very difficult to find. He's been elusive. If you got a warrant for him for, some kind of a felony, law enforcement will continue looking for Joe Jackson at his home, maybe even his business if they know where he works. They will look for him. There'll be lookouts for his car, all yada, yada, yada. But one place they do not go, even if they know he goes to church, under most conditions, they will not go into church while he's singing in the choir and drag him out. That's just against their policies and against, basically they say, don't do that. That's what they tell you in the schools. Don't do that. If you can't get him any other way, he has become so elusive that he's really playing games with you, then yeah, you're going to have to do what you got to do. But under normal conditions, no, you don't do that. I would see the same thing in the case with the kids. If you've got to round up the kids at any point in time for whatever reason, you do it at their home with their parents.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yes.
Okay.
Once again, it'll be a painful process.
It will be.
It's been ignored too long. A larger and larger percentage of people overseas look at that and say, well, why don't I try it too? Because
That's a
they
problem.
don't have rules,
It's
and that's a problem.
yeah, it's just become.
No other
okay.
country in the world takes immigration the way that we take immigration. You have a little country, the Dominican Republic, they're building a wall, and if you come across that country, you're going to be sent back or put in jail until they figure out how to send you back. And it seems cruel, but you gotta obey your own laws.
I've traveled onto the Virgin Islands on a number of occasions, land in the U.S. side, and then catch a boat over, a ferry over to the British side, which is, I can see across that imaginary border in the water, right? You can see over there. I have to go through the same customs inspection that I have to go through coming into this country or going into any other country. It's brand, I'm there. And then I have to, when I leave from there and come back across that imaginary border, I have to do the same kind of stuff when I get back going into the United States. And even when we're on a boat traveling back and forth between there and the United States, we are subject to be stopped and checked. And we have been. So, the borders are there for a reason, folks. And these are the British Virgin Islands that I'm talking about. The USVI and the British Virgin Islands, they're right there side by side. And I mean, like, come on. We're friendly with the British Virgin Islands, the British, right? This is kind of weird, but I understand it's a point. You're crossing a border, coming into another country. They want to make sure you're doing it legally, even if you're a visitor. So
Overall, it sends a message to the rest of the world.
it does. It
We
should.
will not be taking people that are not coming in legally anymore. And so if somebody was thinking of getting on a boat or getting on a plane or driving across, they're going to think 5 times before they do it. So if nothing else, it's going to decrease the passage of illegals into this country.
Well, according to Border Patrol, that's already happened. They've had many fewer interdictions in the last 2 weeks.
I believe it.
People are not trying to sneak in nearly as much. They know what the consequences are going to be. They're going to be shipped right back out. So that's the good thing. Okay, education-wise, medically speaking, I'm hearing people still talking about they're hacking and they're coughing, and there's some cases where the people have tested positive for COVID. My wife was telling me about one last night, tested positive for COVID, had no clue, no issues whatsoever, no fever, nothing else, but tested positive for COVID because she had a little cough going on. That was her only real symptom. Are we having problems? Quit that. We got Lee over here trying to cough.
You made me cough
Yes,
talking about coughing.
absolutely. We sure are. We had, I think it was 20, maybe 25, but I think it was 20
Wow.
cases of flu. They're all flu A. And we had 5 cases of COVID on Monday. Yesterday, we probably had about 15, because Monday's always the worst day.
Good golly.
Yesterday, we had about 15 positive flu A's and 3 COVID.
That's a lot.
Wow.
They
That's
don't
a
look,
lot.
yeah, they don't look that, I mean, they're sick. They have a fever. You get the temperature down. Parents, Motrin is a wonder drug. If your kid has a fever, make sure you get out the ibuprofen. If you don't have ibuprofen, take out the Tylenol. Have a thermometer at home. And then don't just do that. Let's put your kid in a nice cool, not cold, cool bath. And plenty of fluids, maybe 8 ounces of cool, refreshing fluids, and you will turn that sick child into a child that feels much, much better.
I got a friend with a
Then you
walk-in
assess,
freezer. Would that
look
work?
at that child and figure out what's going on.
Well, Dr. Rose, last night I had to go to the emergency room to pick up something from someone that they're being transported to another facility. So they needed me to get some of their stuff. I have never, ever seen the Onslow ER as full as it was last night. There were people standing. It was standing room only. I'm like, it looked like something out of a movie with a contagion. And I was panicked walking in. I'm, oh my
Why
Lord.
did you go? You
I just had to
should have
run
sent
pick
that
it. It was
by
in and out. Yeah. It was just, they had their
Okay,
keys
in and
ready.
out, okay, I'll
But
come
I
back
have,
up.
like, I don't know what all these people
How
have.
are you feeling?
I feel fine, but
Sure.
freaky.
Yeah, make sure you take some vitamin C,
Yeah.
D, and zinc
Yeah,
today.
because I was like, what in the world? I mean, I've never, and they were all ages, kids, adults, elderly. I mean, people sitting on the floor. It was packed.
No,
Yep.
you're kidding me.
That's what it felt like at the clinic. We had on Monday, I got a phone call from 3 of our 5 front desk people.
Mhm.
I said, holy moly. Well, all 3 of them called out sick.
Oh, wow.
All 3 of them have the flu.
Oh, my.
Wow.
Oh, boy.
That's right.
Orange juice. Is that a good one?
Vitamin C,
Okay. I drank a lot of orange juice.
that's a yes.
I had some this
He was
morning.
drinking it
That's
this
right.
morning.
Get a little
yes.
bit of sun if you
Wow.
can.
We won't
Get
have
it off of that.
we won't have that
Stay
today.
out of busy places.
I
Uh-huh.
know.
Yeah,
Stay out of playgrounds where kids touch everything. Stay away from there.
yeah.
The kids need to run around outside in their own backyard.
Yeah.
Don't take them to somewhere that they're all exposed.
I-
And if your
That's a
kids are
good
going
idea.
to school,
Like
Yeah.
tell them don't
McDonald's.
touch the other kids' lunch. Keep your hands to yourself, kid.
You know, what's so interesting that I used to be very mobile pretty much every day, even though I got my studios right here, so I don't have to go anywhere normally. But I reduced the number of trips that I go somewhere, the amount of
I
mileage
have
that I have. I don't go into crowds.
Yeah.
If I have to have something from a big box store, I go at their off times. I
Right
just,
there with you.
That's right.
when I can look
Right
down
there.
the aisle and see no one, I can find a parking
Yeah.
place up close to the place. I say, okay, now's my turn. I can
Right.
go in and get my mess.
Yes.
But I just don't. I
That's
don't want
right.
to. I don't want to be around any crowd if I can help it.
I don't
period.
do it on
Bottom line.
payday.
No.
Right after
No.
the show is
Especially
when
in
I
the
do
winter.
mine.
I don't. I just.
Yes.
I just don't
If
do
you
it.
have young children and it's winter, stay away from crowds, please.
Yep.
We don't need those little ones going through that.
And Dr. Stein, we discussed this before, but I thought about you Sunday morning. I was with a friend going to breakfast, watched a mother carrying her little baby to the car, and that baby had no sweater on, no socks and
Oh, Lord.
shoes,
No.
no blanket wrapped around
They
it.
don't get sick from that.
I was cold.
Let me tell
And
you what.
here is this baby and the mother. I'm like, what? And,
Maybe she's trying to keep the child cold.
You should always put socks on your baby. Always.
well, put a
I
blanket around
actually
it.
think that we should go back to parenting classes.
I agree with you. We obviously need to.
Install, put a nice channel with 24/7 parenting classes for young ones, and you get like points or something. I don't know. For watching several educational programs about how to be a better parent.
If my mother was
Because
still
it's like
living,
it's gone.
if my mother was still living, she could be the dean of that class, that school. Call when my
I
daughter,
volunteer too.
when my grown daughter would walk next door, she's where's your coat?
Mm-hmm.
Where's your? I mean, it could be in the summertime, but where's your coat?
Right.
I mean, that was the way she did it. And the grandbaby, oh, don't you let that grandbaby come out here
Mm.
without a
No.
full. She needs a parka.
Yeah. Body suit.
My mom went a few steps beyond that. You do not step beyond the threshold of another person's house without me with you. I could
Oh.
not. I was not allowed to enter into the house of anybody without my mom by my side. So when I played with my neighbors, I had to knock on the door and say, "Can you come out to play with me?" And I was not allowed to bring anybody into my house if my parents weren't there. So it wasn't just the coat. It was, nope, you stay outside of their house and they stay outside of your house.
You should have moved to a better neighborhood. Is all I can say.
No, that's not what it was. It was
I know what it
that was your
Yeah.
mom being
Listen, I
cautious.
understand all
I
that.
get it. Well,
Mom being a good mom.
my grandmother always used to say, "It's a sign of a good mother is a mother that puts socks on their babies."
Oh, is that right? There's that.
Always said that.
You need that embroidered and put on the
Mhm.
walls.
Yep.
You could sell that
And
at
to this
Walmart.
day, if I see a baby out without socks on in a store, I cringe because it just.
I know, my
my kids
first
always
thought-
had socks on.
My first thought Sunday morning when I saw that is, I've got to call Dr. Rose.
Yeah.
Well,
I agree with you wholeheartedly. Those little feet sticking out
Yes.
of that carrier like that, just sticking up in the air. I'm like,
Yeah.
no,
that doesn't fare well.
no.
Especially
No.
because the parent probably has socks on. That's what's even worse about it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sometimes
No
they do,
doubt.
sometimes they don't. You would be amazed at what I see out there carrying little kids around, and
Oh,
the
that's
parents
not
are no
safe.
better.
Well, the mother
Short
was
sleeve
didn't
shirts.
even have a sweater on.
I was
don't
going to say
wanna-
short sleeve shirts and everything else, and it's 25 degrees outside. I've seen
No.
parents doing that
No, we can't.
with their
do that.
kids. So anyway, okay,
With their kids.
parenting classes. You're right. We need them.
That's a good idea, Dr. Rose.
Dr. Rose, thank you.
That's a good idea.
You have a great rest of your
Thank you
day.
guys. Lively conversation as always.
We'll try to stay healthy, please,
Yeah,
around all that
please.
sickness.
All right. Well,
I will try.
see you next week. Bye.
Talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Always interesting. But always got something with Dr.
We
Rose
certainly
going on.
can
We-
get into the discussions, can't we, with her?
Yeah. Just wind her up, turn her loose. That would be the way to go. Kelly gave me this piece of paper. Did you see this?
Yeah,
Kelly,
I
it's
want
upside
to.
down. It's printed upside down. He handed it to me upside
Oh,
down.
you stop. Here, I got something else.
No,
for
but
you.
no, that's for you.
Oh, for me.
That's to you.
Okay.
Peter Wright's in the house.
Oh, Peter Wright.
Oh, what do we call him now? Mr. Wright?
Mr. Wright.
He is Mr. Ladies, we have.
Why is this Mr. Right?
I know, like,
somewhere?
what's happening?
Ladies, we have Mr. Wright in the house.
There's a story behind it, Peter.
I hate Misters and Misses.
Yeah, me too.
I was brought up, I had to, my father said, you have to call everybody Mr. or Mrs.
Hmm.
When I turned 18, but when I left home, I started calling everybody by their first
There
name.
you go. Yeah. I'll never forget my first adult dive buddy. He helped teach me and my cousin how to really dive. He's a former Navy, and we we had to. I mean, we didn't have to, but our parents insisted that because I was 16, I was 17 at the time, and he was like 35. He's Mister. You got to call him Mister. He tried to get us to stop that, and we couldn't get out of the habit for the longest time until I was probably 25 when I started calling him his first name. Weird. It takes a while, That was ingrained in us. I had an older cousin of mine. I mean, he was like, when I was 10, he was in his 60s. We couldn't call him. He wasn't Uncle Benny. We couldn't call him like that. He wasn't our uncle. He was a cousin.
Mm-hmm.
We had to call him Cousin Benny. Here in the South, that's one of the things you do, I guess. Have you ever heard that one before, Lee?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
This is kind of weird. Cousin Benny. Well, okay.
We
Why don't I
talked
call
Not
about
cousins,
that, yeah.
but yeah.
why don't I call cousin so and so cousin? Because he's my age or younger. But weird.
I had a lot
Well,
of cousins from New York, so the Vinny played in well.
Oh, Vinny.
Mhm.
Everybody was named Vinny.
Just about.
Well, my stepmother, when my mother died when I was young, and my father remarried, and we were taught to call her Aunt Ruth. So when I turned 18, I said, I really want to call you Ruth from now on.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
said, that's okay, but my brother and my two sisters, they still called her Aunt Ruth until she passed away.
Oh, wow. Yeah, well, I had an uncle on my mom's side, her brother. He was probably 6 or 8 years older than me. So I had to call him uncle. It was weird. That one was weird.
Yeah.
So, all right, Peter, coming up on March.
Oh,
We're
I
in
suppose it will be. Yeah.
Well, we got about a month to go.
Yeah.
Let's tell people, especially some of those that may have been putting things off. And I had that discussion with a young man this morning, bright and early. It's not too early to start thinking about things, even though it might be 10 years before he's going to be involved in any of this Medicare type stuff. But he needs to be planning in advance, right? Not for the Medicare itself, but for what you need to do to be getting ready for Social Security and Medicare.
And retiring and everything. Yeah. A lot of, yeah.
Well, I heard he has a rich father-in-law, so I don't think
I
he'll
don't
have
know
any
who that
problems.
is.
With that.
It's a son-in-law. But anyway, there are some things here that, let's just say I'm not of age yet to collect Medicare benefits.
Yep.
They're going to give them to me whether I want them or not, right?
Well, as long as for Medicare,
They're going to send
you've got to work for, what is it? 10 years, or you've got to be married to somebody who's worked for 10 years.
Okay.
In this country, or I'm saying a little bit hesitant here because when I got Medicare when I'd only been in the country for 4 years. It's quite interesting.
Yeah. How'd you do that?
I got disabled, very bad, severely disabled
right.
with rheumatoid arthritis, and I'd only been working over here for 4 years, but I was in my 40s, late 40s, when that happened, and so they looked at my history here, and you don't have to have 10 years, obviously, when you're younger. If to get disabled, you can have less than that. And I think I needed something like 6.5 years or so of working to be able to get it. But I didn't have that in America. But I had worked for 17 years or so in South Africa. So I thought 14 years, I can't remember what it was. And so I thought they'd take that into consideration, but they didn't. So then, fortunately, I'd started working when I was 17 in England, and I'd worked, in the holidays at a brick company, and then I'd worked for about 4 years at a manufacturing plant for 5 months of a year. I'd go to that. I did a sandwich course where you do some in the industry and some at a college, and that 5 months for the 4 years I did it, counted. So They use that as and that.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
we are still a colony, is what you're telling me.
we still have, what is it called? Reciprocation.
Yes. Okay.
I presume it goes both ways.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that'd be interesting. I did not know that. So,
Yeah.
what do we got? What do people know now coming up? I'm not old enough. I'm not 65. I'm going to be 65 maybe in October. Do I need to do anything now, or make some plans now, or get ready, or what?
Well, really, you have a 7-month window when you're coming up to getting to Medicare.
Okay.
When you're coming up to turning 65. So you have a 3-month. You have your birth month. So my birth month is June. I was born in June, and so you've got, if your birth month was in June, and you look, that's when you can that's when your Medicare can go live on the 1st of June.
Okay.
Unless you were born on the 1st of June, in which case it goes live in May. But yeah, there's always exceptions to prove the rule. But the 3 month, as I said, 7 months. So 3 months before your birth month. So you want it in May, April, March. So in March, beginning of March, you want to make sure that if you haven't received your red, white, and blue card, your Medicare A and B card, you want to call up the Social Security, not Medicare, Social Security, and if you want your Part A and Part B, then you want to give them a call and make sure you get that card.
Okay.
Some people won't want to get Part B, in which case they should automatically get the Part A card sent to them. I would still recommend that you do it. I have come across 2 people in the 7 years or so that I've been doing it that never got actually approved for Part A, and they should have done. Because if they'd worked and everything.
Well, how I thought it just was like kind of. I never applied.
They like hunted you down.
Yeah, I thought so too, but there's always mistakes that get made. So
like getting my birth date wrong.
I mean, I've spoken to thousands of people. So 2 out of thousands of people I've spoken to it's not many, but it's
Okay, for you folks that are heading in that direction, double check. This is just a word because this happened to more than me, as it turns out. Double check when you get your Social Security, you get your Medicare information. Double check the date that they have you listed for your birth date. Because if that was the 14th, for instance, and they left off the 0 and they put you down as 1 instead of 1-4, and you have to go in for any medical procedures, and they ask you your birth date, and then they come back and say, nope, that's not what they've got. Well, they're going to take your word for it? Absolutely not. Mm-hmm. It's better to get it taken care of in advance before you have to go in and you got some kind of a medical issue coming up. So just double check whatever the federal government has got for you, double check and make sure it's accurate.
Yeah. And
if they got you listed as a woman and you ain't, I would suggest you correct that too. Mm-hmm. Okay. What other issues would be facing people as they're approaching Medicare age?
Okay, let me answer that one because I mentioned the 7-month window, and we mentioned the 3 months before. You also have 3 months after your birth date in which you can still sign up for a Medicare Advantage.
That comes out 6 months.
So that gives you the 3 months before, the month of your birth, and the 3 months after. So you got that's the 7-month window.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, your next question was?
What are there other issues people need to be aware of, or concerns of things that they might want to take care of before they actually have to use Medicare?
Well, I think you want to start thinking about, are you going to have a supplement plan or an Advantage plan? A lot of people nowadays are going for the Advantage plans. A lot. Yeah.
What is the reason you would not go for the Advantage plan? Then we're going to talk about the difference.
Maybe if you're having infusions in some counties, you might not be able to get a low maximum out of pocket plan. An infusion is like I had infusions for rheumatoid arthritis. I had Remicade infused into me, and you go into a doctor's office. You have to have it done in a doctor's office, and it may cost a couple of $1,000 each time you have an infusion. And I was having 12 of those each year. And yeah, so that would be one possibility. But there are plans, maybe not in this area, but in a lot of areas in the country where you can get a low maximum out of pocket, say $2,500, and then it's probably still worthwhile having getting a Medicare Advantage plan.
Yeah.
So that's about that. Maybe if you just found you've got cancer and you don't know what you want to do, you might want to go over to some already out of the way cancer place or whatever. That could be perhaps a reason. I faced that same thing, and I thought, no, I just want to go with an Advantage plan because I can save so much money by doing that.
Another thing that for some of us that end up in another country from time to time for vacations, even in a friendly country, Dutch type country, they had problems accepting Medicare or pretty much any other insurance plan, American based. Have you run into that?
I always recommend people take travel insurance, get independent travel insurance, so you can be repatriated just in case something happens. Because my stepmother broke both her hips in Portugal when they were over there.
Oh wow!
She lived in England, obviously, but she was flown back on a stretcher in a plane, and so that would have been really costly if she hadn't had.
So take out special insurance for the duration of the trip,
if you can, because it's pretty it doesn't cost that much. I mean, I think I did it to go to England last time, and it was about $120 or so for a couple of weeks in England, and that gives you peace of mind.
Yeah.
But with an Advantage plan, you do get your emergency care is basically, you can use it anywhere in the world. I think
you could use an Advantage plan for medical procedures. I mean, let's just say I go
for emergencies,
and I have a broken arm or something like that. My plan will take care of that in another country.
It's meant to take care of emergency care, so yes. But I think you may well have to pay first and then claim it afterwards.
I gotcha.
So I think you're better off having an individual travel insurance.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that sounds good. And we've got some other areas here we need to talk about right now. We know that in some areas of North Carolina, a plan that any number of people had, the Aetna plan for an Advantage plan, right?
Yeah.
Is pretty much no more in a lot of places.
Well, in Onslow and Craven County,
Okay.
yeah, but then Aetna pulled out of those two counties.
Is it too late for people who may have been with that plan as an Advantage plan? What can they do now?
They can still sign up. They have a special election period until the end of this month, in which they can.
End of February.
Yes,
Okay.
I actually just signed someone up on the 1st of February to start on the 1st of March because they hadn't taken action yet.
Okay, this is early February, so you've got about 3 weeks, y'all, to do this.
Yeah.
And remember, this is a short month. 28th is it.
Mhm.
So don't wait too long. So you've got some plans that can help people. And if they want to call you about that, they can call and ask you questions first.
Yes, yeah.
And that number, because if I give it, I'll give it wrong.
So do I, it seems.
I know you do. We both get your number wrong. 252 something.
252-675-5600. 4488.
All right, that's the one I know now.
So
Okay.
that's 252-675-4488.
And if they just want to come visit you, say, "Hey, Peter, how's it doing, Mr. Wright? What's happening here?"
I'm in Walmart on North Marine Boulevard, and I'm there today and tomorrow. So that's Wednesday and Thursday, from 10 till 1 and 2 till 4.
Okay, so we're gonna take a break for lunch about 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
But at Western Boulevard and 17 North Marine Boulevard and the intersection of Western Boulevard to Walmart there. That's the one here in Jacksonville. And if you happen to be from Newbern, you want to come down and see him too, or Jones County or wherever, you can see him today and tomorrow from 10 until 1 and 2 to 4.
Yep.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I got that right. And you walk in the front door and you go behind the cash registers up near the wall there and run into him. You'll find him.
And that's in the groceries entrance.
Yes,
Yes.
go in the
Yep.
grocer's
Yep.
entrance.
Yep.
Easiest way to do it.
And next week, but this week, that's February the 5th and the 6th, obviously. Next week, it'll the 13th and 14th. I will be there on the Thursday and the Friday.
Okay.
Probably similar times.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We'll talk
Yeah.
about that next week as well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But you're still here next Wednesday for us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. Any other topics we need
Yeah,
to
he
talk
talked about claiming benefits because I was reading this.
Okay.
That you're owed.
Yeah, the insurance companies won't like me this time, because I'm just trying to remind people that you can really, if you can claim money on your insurance, you really should do. Because I was just thinking back last night of some of the money that I have claimed and my wife has claimed, and some of the money that we haven't and we still need to. And I was thinking of everybody else. Probably a lot of people will be in the same situation. I mean, last year we had the Aetna plan for my wife, and she had a policy that gave her $1,200 to spend on fitness items.
And she didn't do it.
She did do it.
She did do it. Okay.
But in the last week, she bought a $950 bicycle and a $250 smartwatch.
As you.
What?
Look at Leo.
Oh, no,
That was on an Aetna policy. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Okay, so
I've got Blue Cross
if
card.
I've got arthritis and stuff like that in both my hands and trying to get exercising to work on that will take care of it too.
If you had that policy.
Well, I've got the Blue Cross Blue Shield.
So they don't have that Aetna. They don't have those policies any longer, as far as I'm
Okay,
aware.
shoot.
And
we still get the card.
Blue Cross didn't have that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you that Flex card also works because I have some meds that I have to use.
Yeah.
It worked out very well over the counter stuff. I walked right into the store and I said, "Does this thing work on this stuff?" Yes, sir, it does.
I have got to go do that.
No, there is on the Blue Cross policy. You do get the $112 every month, which I have let slip away in January.
So
I
have
did
I.
all last year.
What do I do with that?
And we could be buying fitness equipment from the Fit on Health website.
I have
Well,
all
can I
So-
not buy it locally if I want to find it here?
No, you
I've-
have to use that website.
You have to use the website, but you.
Do they have 45 automatic ammunition there?
No.
I for-
that was going to be exercising my hand.
15 boxes of ammo does not
I was going to say
constitute
shooting because of the
fitness equipment.
pressure that it puts on you. Whatever. Okay, but we can, and it also, that $112, is that part that you apply also to a membership in like one of the gyms or something? Or
Yes, it is,
That's
yeah.
part of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you've got a membership, that may be costing $30 or so.
Mhm.
I'm giving a thumbsuck here. So you've still got $82 left that you could be spending
Okay.
on either getting extra classes or downloading videos
Or having it two different gyms.
or being in two different gyms or
Maybe
getting
one's
some,
got a better pool than the other.
or getting some stretch ropes or
So
or go to your wife's gym as well, or a friend's gym, or Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking of joining a second gym as well.
Okay.
just to try it out and
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, that,
see. Yeah.
that works
You
well.
go, Peter. You
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, I know one place in town that now takes this, and I'm going to go see them because they got an indoor and an outdoor pool.
that's
That's it.
that's okay. I think that's the one I'm in too.
I think it is too.
Well,
Yeah,
I will
yeah.
say this.
I've been there one time, and it was several years ago, and I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know someone on the plan, and because you get X amount of money, they've joined 2 gyms here.
That's what I'm
Mhm.
thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One for because they like their weights better,
And
and
one-
the other one for the pool.
But that's exactly what
Yeah,
I'm thinking.
that's what they
exactly
did.
what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So I've got so that $112 will go a long ways. Or you can buy items from your that site. You can order stuff.
Mhm.
I got to talk to you about.
Yeah.
I got to get that. Y'all need to help me. I'm stupid about insurance
Yeah. Well,
and benefits. Really.
well, I've been the same. I've missed out last year. Probably, I used my over-the-counter money once in the 4 quarters. I could have done it.
Okay.
I used it in 1
So
quarter.
you get that amount, whatever it is. It varies from person to person.
It varies from the different plan that you
Okay.
may have.
So it varies, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But whatever you get, $80 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You get it every quarter. It's applied to your card. Now, suppose I got left over from the previous quarter.
You use it or you lose it.
Ooh, okay. Got to figure out how much left over I got then.
No, you have to use it in that quarter.
I know, but I got
Yeah.
January, February, and March.
March.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
So I think you've got $83.
I think so. I'll just go spend it all on the same drugs.
Well, you can do it
Stock
on
them up.
drugs, or you can do. You can see if you can
Band-Aids.
get toothpaste, toothbrush, stuff like that. I have
Neosporin.
been told that there's not being covered as I've been told this.
Concentration.
I haven't tried it yet, and I need to do it this quarter. But it may not be covering as much as it did last year. But I'm not sure if that's right or not. But,
Okay.
And just remember, the pharmacies have a book that tell you everything of their products that's covered because when I went with my friend to go do this, and the people behind the counter were super helpful, and they actually showed us the book. Here's the book, and walked us up and down the aisles. They were very helpful.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
To
and
cover Valentine's candy.
because certain things are I'm ignoring you, Rayford. Certain things are
You're trying.
allowed that aren't. Like, so if you've got 3 brands of
Band-Aids.
Band-Aids, one brand may be covered under that and the other two
Really?
are not. Yeah. Yeah. But they had a list and it
Oh,
was
that would
listed
drive me
out.
crazy.
Yeah.
Because I'd be looking
Well,
for
let me
the
tell you
cheaper
how
one.
we found out. We got up to the register and they started scanning and said it's not covered. I'm like, seriously? So we didn't know. So then the worker said, wait. And another worker heard it, said, wait, there's a book. And then they came, they actually walked with us up and down all the aisles. It was very,
Cool.
very nice.
Cool. I like
That
that.
is
But now,
cool.
but now we know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll make a list of that, and that's all right. Second time around, I'll just be good to go.
Can't
I
you
like
go
it.
on their website also and they have a list there
They'll mail you a book,
that
apparently.
you can,
You
yeah.
can get a
Mhm.
book you can order from
Mhm.
Blue Cross as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's something you can just go
Yeah.
right on the website,
Yeah.
and print off.
But it's also nice to go into the store and do it that
Oh,
way.
yeah.
Because
Sure.
I remember last year when my wife went on the policy she was on, she couldn't get anything, but she wanted eye drops and they weren't covered. But I showed the Blue Cross card and it was covered.
Okay, gotcha.
So it was cool.
I'm all about it.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. And then
Um,
so other things that I've helped people probably in Onso around 60 to 80 people with hospital indemnity policies.
mhm.
But those help people. If you go into hospital or it pays you for the time you're in the hospital, so you can pay your bills. It's insurance that gives you helps pay you, so you can pay the hospital bills, surgery bills. If you can also select to take coverage if you have any physical therapy sessions or have a surgery. And so last year I had 13 physical therapy sessions. I think there were 8 for my feet and 5 for my knees. I claimed the 8 for my feet, and that was each day every time I went for physical therapy, the hospital indemnity plan would pay me $50. So it only cost me $10 for the physical therapy each session with the Blue Cross plan. So I was being paid $40 to have physical therapy, which I thought was quite nice.
I like that.
I do too.
I'm all about
Yeah.
that.
So
Heck yeah.
Okay, so do I have to have a doctor to tell me that I need physical therapy on my feet, for instance?
yes, you get
If I've got
if your doctor
arthritis.
if you've got a problem, then you go to the doctor. You get a referral,
Mhm.
a prescription or whatever it's called.
Okay.
Referral. Yeah. And you do have to have that in order to get the physical
Okay. So,
therapy session.
I
So you
can't
can
just
show
go-
that to your physical
I
therapist.
can't just go pick up Bubba John and
No.
tell him that I need
Can't
to
do it.
fix my feet or rub my feet, right?
Nope.
Doesn't work.
Yeah. But you also have to have a hospital indemnity plan for this to work. But if you have if you've decided to take one out, so I took one out on myself, which is about just over $50 a month. And for instance, this last year, 13 sessions is $650. I've only claimed $400 worth of that, but I've got to claim the other.
But you got to have the indemnity plan to be able to.
to be able
do
to
that?
do that.
Mhm.
Yes, and I also had surgery last year because they did a colonoscopy on me and found a couple of polyps.
Mhm.
So I got a claim with $250 for that also. So my plan last year, I essentially pulled in, if I do make all the claims, $900. It only cost me $600. So
Okay.
not only did I not effectively pay for the plan, I made some money out of it, but I also had that peace of mind all through the year that I had that hospital indemnity plan.
Obviously,
Right.
for the folks that do not take advantage of this is how the insurance companies make their money, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
If you don't take advantage of it, it's theirs.
If I don't go ahead and make a claim for it,
Uh-huh.
then I'm losing out.
Okay.
And so there's all these sort of policies, and I've helped people with that. I've helped one or two people with a home health care policy, and on that, whether or not you're actually claiming for, on the home health care, even if you're not ill, you can still claim money back for the drugs that you take. Every time you get a brand name drug on the plan that I'm on, that you get a brand name drug filled, you get $25. Every time you get a generic drug filled, you get $15. So
But
in a
this is
year,
all based on the hospital indemnity plan, though, right?
this is a home health care
Home
policy.
health care policy. That's separate from what we've already got, right?
Yes, but I mention it because Kelly, your mother's got a home health care policy, and so she should. What we can do this year, what we can do for this last year is now go to the pharmacy, say, please give me a printout of the number of times that I had, received those drugs and what they were during last year, and then use that to claim for the.
Heck yeah. I
Okay,
can
so
do
And that's
that.
why I gave you some
Yes, that's
claim
what that,
forms.
okay. I
Folks,
am.
there
gonna
are
do that.
reasons you need to talk with Peter.
Mhm.
I've just learned 3 things this morning.
Peter keeps me educated on this because I wouldn't have a
Every time you
clue.
come in. Okay, so there are things if you're on Medicare, there are some other things you may want to look at. There's
Mhm.
some things you may have that you don't even know that you've got.
Mhm.
Look at your blasted book or call Peter.
I'm going to give you a couple more too.
Okay, go
Yeah.
ahead. I ain't gonna use all I can get.
So my wife this last year fell off a bicycle and fractured her pelvis.
That bicycle that she got for 900.
No,
pickup-
different.
No, a different one.
The new one has a very wide seat.
Yeah, so she won't fall.
So,
Training wheels.
and I was actually looking at a different policy this last week, and it said if you fracture your pelvis, you can claim a certain amount of money. And I was thinking, well, my wife, and I haven't checked into it yet, but my wife has got, and it was before I was an insurance agent, she got a $50,000 policy it was really a sort of life insurance, but it was geared towards health. And if various things happened, we should be able to claim on it. And I think one of those was broken bones, pelvises, things like that. So I've got to check that. She might have there might be maybe even $2,500 worth that she can claim for a fractured pelvis. So
How much
It's
for broken
just-
I'm here
fingers?
for it. Yeah, you mean
Yeah,
break
I mean,
some on you,
I've
Rafa, so
already
you
had
can
two
claim
of
it.
them,
Yeah.
right?
Isn't that
Yeah.
like an Aflac policy or something?
It is. It wasn't Aflac. It was, but it was. We took a policy out because it was that one. It was that combined with another policy that enabled us to get health insurance for my wife at about a third of the price that it would otherwise have been than doing. Yeah, this was about 12, 14 years ago, and so that was one way around it. We were trying to make things work, and we still kept that policy because it's got a life insurance
Right.
benefit on it, and I think it's $60 a month that I'm paying on it, and I just thought I'd keep it.
Can any of these advantage plans or anything, we keep talking about travel insurance. Is there something that you could add to it? To a policy that we already have to add travel insurance to it?
So you're saying is there?
No, for an advantage plan. I got the advantage plan, right?
Okay.
Can I add like you can add the hospital indemnity plan? You can add the health, whatever it's called, plan. Is there one that does include travel insurance so that you could add it on?
I think I haven't seen that,
Totally
so
separate.
I think you'd
That would
want
be
to
an-
do a separate one and get it
Sure.
from
Sure.
I go to the AAA as well.
Yeah,
I go to
okay.
get my travel insurance.
Okay.
But there are other places as well.
That was just a thought process there,
Yeah.
because that would be something wise for somebody like Blue Cross to be offering.
Yeah. Yeah.
As an extra plan. So I mean, keep it all in the company, in one mailing. I don't have to get a bunch of different mails. Okay.
Mhm. And then there's another interesting one to
Okay.
tell you about life insurance. Not life insurance, accident insurance. I have an accident insurance plan with a particular company, and it's for $70,000 a year, and it costs me $11 a month to pay for it. So if I have an accident and I die as a result of that accident, my wife gets $70,000. And I've kept it on, and I think at the age of 70, it might be 75. It's
So
probably
if you
70.
have a wreck or fall
Yeah.
off a roof, is that?
Yeah, I think it also covers you if you break the big bones and things
Mhm.
like that. I can't remember exactly. But it has one thing that it does cover me for, but it doesn't mention in the policy. But if there's a weather-related storm event, what's it called? A disaster event.
A hurricane.
Yeah, a hurricane.
Okay.
And it's in your area, you can claim $300
Why?
from a company. They just do it as a matter of goodwill for, excuse me. They do it as a matter of goodwill for their. for their
Is this a
cli-
different
clients.
plan or?
It's a life insurance company,
Okay.
and it has this
For
ability.
$11 a
And
month.
I don't see any reason why I couldn't mention it. It's Forrester's life insurance. They have this ability where you can do that.
So that's,
So I
okay.
could probably have claimed it about 3 or 4 times. I've only done it the once when I wasn't actually affected by it.
Okay. So, if I can sign up for that too as well, right? $11 a month.
Well, you can only take it. They've actually stopped issuing that policy, but there are other policies like that. But if you are a member of that policy and your insurance agent hasn't told you about it, you now know about it.
Okay. So I
Because
need to see you about that too, huh?
Any client that I had that I'd signed up for that policy, I would phone them up each time there was a hurricane or whatever in that area and let them know about it.
All right. That sounds like a winner. I think I'll have to see you again. Sure.
Well, the main emphasis to this week was, I know insurance companies won't like me, but it was make sure you get, what
absolutely.
you've insured yourself for.
Yep.
Because you really, you deserve it because it's, that's why you.
Yeah, I've already
Well,
missed
you
out on
insured yourself.
January, so I've got to work
Yeah.
for February.
Yeah.
So I got to get on down to a couple of places
Yeah.
and sign up, go
Yeah.
buy some stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. Peter, thank you as always. My goodness
Thank you.
gracious. Way to
Well-
save money, way to, get the money back that you actually are buying. You're paying for it.
Yeah.
If you don't take advantage of the services or whatever the payback is, that's shame on us.
Yeah, shame on me.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's shame on
Do
me
it
too. I mean,
last year.
I'm as equal. I've got to claim back those drugs. I've got to claim back the surgery and
I didn't use my
uh,
free money last year. I mean,
Yeah.
my free benefits.
Yeah.
Well,
Stupid.
yeah. And on the Blue Cross plan, we can have somebody come to our house and clean it, or do
No, because
food
I'm the type of
preparation, or
person.
do.
it's
you know,
okay.
I
They
would
can
have
come
to
here.
clean it first before they came.
Robbie and I can
Yeah.
use it. What do I have to do to get that? Just fall down?
No, you don't have to do anything. I've tried it out already. I did it for 5 months about 2 years ago.
I just want them to come in here after we finish this
Do they
construction
do laundry?
stuff.
They'll do light tasks. So if you've got
Vacuuming,
yeah.
dusting, and all that
Laundry.
stuff. Ooh,
The earning.
mowing the lawn.
they'll do food preparation.
I don't
That's,
want
you
that.
know,
I'll do my own.
okay.
I don't
well,
trust them.
The thing to do is phone up Blue Cross and find out, what you, if you want to use it, phone them up and find out what they will do.
I'll save it for when I absolutely have no choice and need it.
I had somebody come to the house and they'd clean the kitchen, the bathroom, the toilet,
How about
the
the pool?
floors.
Very nice.
Will they clean the
yeah.
pool
Yeah.
too?
Did they clean the
Didn't have a
pool?
pool.
I don't have a pool, but I just want, just in case we get one.
I need a pool boy. Come clean
Oh,
it.
But they're really there
Probably.
to help you and keep you company, and and if you've got a
Very
if you-
nice.
if you've got a if you've had a surgery and you're trying to get up and about, then they're there to help you and so on. So that's you can use but there's no reason not to.
I need some
Yeah,
work
make
done on
use
the
of it.
roof.
Yeah.
Can they help me
You
with that?
go, yeah.
Well, I was
Take
thinking I need
advantage.
my car sanded so I could spray paint it. Could I get them to do that?
There you go. Why not?
No, I don't think so.
Probably not. Peter, thank you as always. We do
Mhm.
appreciate it. And there's a world of knowledge here and lots of stuff out there, folks. Again, he's going to be at today and tomorrow. That is today and tomorrow, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Today and
Yeah.
tomorrow at Walmart on Marine Boulevard North, near the
Mhm.
intersection of Western Boulevard, right behind the Golden Corral. And by the way, if you're a senior, you can go to the Golden Corral between 1 and 4 or 2 and 4. I forgot.
Three,
1 and, whatever it is. Check
What
it out.
time? You go there, don't you?
Yeah,
No, I've been there once, actually.
but anyway, you can go there and eat all you want. During that time, you get a reduced rate,
Us.
and you can eat enough. If you go late enough, before the deadline, you take care of lunch and dinner. Just to let you know.
I know people that do that,
From
actually.
well, you
Oh,
do one
yeah,
to your
yeah.
immediate right.
Yeah.
I like it.
Oh, yes.
Best way to go.
Well,
You
I
do it
remember-
today.
I remember being in Sudan in Khartoum, and they had you could eat as much as you wanted. I think it was a breakfast, and the breakfast place would stay open till about 10:30 in the
Oh, that's
morning.
lunch too.
So we would get there at 8 o'clock, and we would just eat and eat and eat and eat.
Yep.
And then we'd take our small backpacks with us,
Oh,
we
Stuff 'em full.
we were in our 20s, so we'd stuff them full of rolls or whatever, and then that would be our food for the whole day.
there you go.
So we'd splash out on this meal, and then we'd have the food for the rest of the day.
See, folks, the things that you can learn how to do.
That's right. Heck yeah.
See, Mr. Right.
Mhm. Yeah.
Mr. Right.
You won't go wrong.
Oh my, y'all need to stop. Yeah.
See, I didn't even go there.
You didn't.
All right.
Now see, you're rubbing off on Lee.
No,
You're right, Kelly.
better than
You're
me
right.
wrong.
It's happening. Yes.
You're
Between
right.
I'm ignoring that. I hear what you're saying, but pretending I don't hear you say that.
Well, my father-in-law told me about a railway conductor, guy at a station that told people where to go, and in Cape Town, and people would come up to the platform and he'd say, "Well," and I'd ask him where the train went from. He says, "Well, if you go down the corridor and you turn right, you'll be left. You'll be left behind.
Yeah.
If you go left, you'll be right."
Right on time.
Oh my.
That would be confusing me. I wouldn't remember
Yeah.
that till I got there. would
Yeah.
you?
No.
Peter, thank you. We'll
Thanks,
see you next
Peter.
week.
Okay.
All right.
Cheers.
All
Bye.
right.
Bye.
Take care. Cheers. Ta-ta.
Cheers.
All right, we have weather to do.
We got weather to do, and I'm headed for there as soon as I can punch up the right buttons. Offshore today, out to 20 nautical miles, northeasterly winds 15 to 20 knots. Gust up to 25 this morning. Seas 4 to 5 feet, 2 to 3 near shore. Sounds and rivers going to be choppy today. The word choppy is come popping in here a lot. Tomorrow, southwesterly winds 10 to 15. 15 to 20 with gusts to 25 in the afternoon tomorrow. Woo. Seas 4 to 6 feet, except 3 to 4 near shore. Sounds and rivers a moderate chop, increasing to choppy in the afternoon. And again, that choppy word pops in there. Friday, southwesterly winds 15 to 20, gusts to 25, becoming westerly about 10 knots in the afternoon. Seas 3 to 5. Sounds and rivers choppy, diminishing to a light chop in the afternoon.
Today, cloudy, a high of 58. We're under about a 50% chance of rain, so it may or may not rain today during the day. It will be a little gusty with 15-mile-an-hour gusts. Tonight, patchy fog and showers, cloudy, low of 44 otherwise. Tomorrow, clearing with a high of 71. Still be a little gusty in the morning and a little bit throughout the day, 18-mile-an-hour gusts. Tomorrow night, mostly cloudy, low of 59, which is not actually bad. And then on Friday, partly sunny, a high of 73.
That'll be nice.
I know.
Okay. Look, before we start any story, because Kelly's got to go.
Yeah, I have a meeting with the probation officer.
I got a question. Well, yours or?
No.
Oh, okay.
Of course not.
Kelly and I have a story that we're dying to talk about because we both pulled it up.
Look,
same.
great minds think alike. She was like, and I had it pulled up just as she did, not knowing.
You're talking about Mr. Wrong, right?
No,
we're talking about what happened in Albuquerque.
Yes.
This past Friday.
I love it. You want to tell?
You go right ahead.
So there was a young man in the courtroom. He is 21 years old. His name is Alexander Ortiz. Last February of 2024, he was arrested because he shot and killed his ex-girlfriend, actually. So he was in courtroom. So he was charged with first-degree murder. And last March, he pled not guilty. So they were in a courtroom last Friday, and there's a whole video of this. So
it's good.
This man jumps over the courtroom that little saloon door. That's why I call it, because that little swingy door thing.
Where the people sit in the gallery.
The swingy door.
There were people in the audience, family members from both sides.
He was the uncle of the victim.
Uncle and the uncle and the father-in-law jump that little gate thing. It's not really a gate.
The half
and
door.
Beat the pure brakes off the guy. So the deputy who was right there next to the guy, is a big melee. All of a sudden, they're all bodies rolling around on the ground. There's kicking, there's punching. Some lady runs up with a chair because we're watching the video. So the young man's father, I had to read this other article to determine who this other, because it was 6 people total. The young man's father got in the fray as well. Trying to, I guess, attack the uncle and stepfather of the girl.
It looked like a WWE Royal Rumble.
2 women got involved. I really don't know who they were. Then all of a sudden you see a whole bunch of deputies come in through the front door. And the reason the fight stopped, according to this, is the corrections officer finally pulled out a taser. I don't think anybody got tased. Not a little unclear. I don't think so. But so that kind of, you need to watch this video. It is wild.
It was crazy.
The uncle told one of the deputies that detained him, he said, he killed my niece like a coward. This was worth every moment. They beat this guy. I get it. I can't argue. I totally understand. So
pick your times.
The stepfather got, so the uncle and the stepfather were arrested, and they charged with battery on a peace officer and assault on a jail. And that's because when the peace officer was trying to pull the suspect or the guy that Ortiz, he got kind of, they weren't trying to fight the peace officer. He just kind of collateral. They were punching that one guy. He got punched because they were not trying to punch. They would have nothing against the officer.
The court bailiff threw himself on the
he threw him on there, and so
to protect him from the beating, and got beat up himself. But
so they
the whole video.
The video is wild, and they tell what happened was this guy went into her apartment. She had friends staying with her because she feared him, and they were broken up. heard a gunshot in her room.
Hmm.
He ran out the window and he had shot and killed her. Then there was a standoff with police and they finally arrested him. So he's been in jail ever since. Now, the family was waiting and his father went in there trying to fight the uncle and whatever, but he kind of backed off. But the comments, I don't know, Lee, if you've read these comments.
Yes, I did.
People are saying they don't know why the deputy didn't just take his time. Why, it was just interesting. And they said, if I were the deputy, I would have kind of hung back. But somebody made a good comment. They said, look, with all the courtroom cameras now, if that deputy had hesitated and they was like, and he probably wanted to, he could have lost his job.
Absolutely.
So he had to do what he probably
Absolutely.
didn't want to
He did
do.
what
I
he
mean,
should have done.
I get it, but
You just have to see the
you
video.
need to watch this video. It is-
People jumping over the court bench,
and
flying through the air, plowing down like a wrestler
it's
does.
woman with a chair.
How
And I'm trying to
how
figure-
much security did they have in there?
Not
Well, it
much
was
to
one
begin
court
with.
bailiff to begin with
Mhm.
that was trying to protect the one getting beat up, and then I think it was like maybe 2 or 3 more deputies came in.
After the
What
fray,
they should have had prior to, if they had known the volatility of this case, which they probably should have known, that it had the potential, they should have had that room stacked.
Well,
I'm looking at it from the beginning.
defendant was actually up on the
Okay,
floor in
I'm
front
right
of the
here.
I
judge,
understand.
and he did not appear to be handcuffed.
no,
Well,
wait a
they
minute.
don't.
He's
He's in
Generally.
his orange jumpsuit. Hold on,
Yes.
I've got a video right
But
here.
he's away from where he would normally
He's
sit with
handcuffed.
his attorney.
He
Is
was handcuffed. Yeah, wait. If you play it right here, he's cuffed.
Oh yeah,
He's cuffed. He's cuffed. There's a lawyer, and so he's standing. The lawyer ran.
Okay,
which I
now,
don't blame
let
him.
me ask you a question or two before
Yeah.
you have to go. Was this during a regular trial or was this a first appearance?
It
or
was
what
no.
it?
This was. It says it was a plea hearing. I don't know what that
Okay,
means.
so it wasn't a
Yes.
jury trial.
No.
No,
Jury hadn't
no.
even been seated yet.
Okay,
It was
gotcha.
just
So,
a hearing.
all right, that way he can be in handcuffs and no
Right.
jumpsuit.
He
was in
Generally, if
handcuffs.
a jury trial, you're going to be in decent clothes. And
Yeah.
you can't be
Yeah.
handcuffed
No. He was
unless
in
you
handcuffs.
pose a real threat.
They
Okay,
said
go
it was a
ahead.
plea, and you had on the right hand side were other inmates waiting for their trial. They're just sitting in the chairs. They never moved.
They say, Your Honor, I'm guilty. I'm not going
They sat right
It
there and
was
watched
a
it.
melee.
So it looks like, I'm assuming this was the attorney for the defendant was speaking at a podium. The defendant standing behind him, and there's a deputy, I don't know, like 3 feet behind that guy. There's a court reporter. The two prosecutors sitting at the table. They just stood up and went to the side. Oh my goodness! So the defendant tried to hide behind his lawyer, and he's pulling his back. The lawyer's like shrugged him off like that, and went on the other side of the. Oh yeah, this video.
I'll help you out, but I'm not going to be stupid about it.
Watch
I
this
posted
video.
the link on our page
Yeah.
there if anybody
'Cause-
wants to take a look at it.
and
Entertainment in the courtroom.
It is
It was
entertainment.
Today at 5.
I was like,
But I get it. I understand the feelings of the fan. I get it. I mean,
well, we've talked about that.
yeah, I mean, what
Getting
would
in
you
our
do?
ninja outfits at night and
Yeah.
going out and doing the mom thing, you
Well,
know?
some of the comments on NBC's version, I was watching the Fox News because they got it very clear. But NBC has comments, and people were saying, why not just that? First of all, they said anybody on the jury for the uncle and the stepfather said, we'll find them not guilty of beating him right off the bat. But then they said, find this defendant not guilty, turn him loose on the street, let the family know he's been turned loose, and let him have at it.
We've all felt things, and some
Yeah.
of us had said things like that.
Oh,
But
yes.
there's no way on God's green earth that we in this country can stoop to that level. We
Right.
would be no better than the scums in other parts of the world.
Yeah. I think,
We're no better than the drug cartel getting even with their enemies.
yeah.
We're no better.
I guarantee
We
you,
are better, but we wouldn't be.
when it comes time for trial, I guarantee things will be set up differently.
Oh, I'm sure.
No doubt about that. It'd be
But if
closed
it's a
circuit
plea
trial.
hearing, it kind of makes me think maybe he was pleading.
Likely.
It said it was a plea hearing.
Probably a lesser.
Yeah, I read where
Yeah.
he pled not guilty. So
He originally
yeah.
pled not guilty last year,
Right.
but it said this was a plea hearing, which is why he
well,
was
he's
in
pleading
there.
It out. Yeah.
So, I bet, so
Probably
that
trying to
probably
work out a
made him
deal.
even madder.
Just work
Yeah.
out a deal.
Well,
is
we
what
have
they're
2
gonna do.
callers. We have Chris on one line and Charlie on the next.
All right, let's go with Chris first. Thanks for waiting, Chris. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. That was a great story. It gives a new meaning to putting a plea to the mercy of the court.
Yeah.
You'll have to click
In
on
this
the
case,
link.
The courtroom.
That's
It
amazing.
was
That's
crazy.
it was interesting, but good show again as always. But I want to tell a real quick story since we're telling stories, and then I'll let the next caller on.
Okay.
Yesterday we were out working. Oh, would you like me to go first?
Yes, go ahead.
Or you want me to call back?
No,
Okay.
I want you now.
So yesterday we're out at the Hope for the Warriors Lounge,
Oh, yes.
welcoming the young Marines who's going to Geiger and Johnson and stuff for schooling. And was talking to one of the last groups who probably had about 300 come in, and was telling he was a manager at Pandera, I think it's called, the fast food or something.
Panera.
Yeah, Pandera, the Chinese
Oh, okay.
takeout or something.
Yeah, I know. What
Anyway,
you're talking about.
we were asking him how, his background on his journey through the beginning of his Marine career. And he said, I made good money and stuff, but I wasn't serving people. And someone asked him, he said, so you're not going to make any money in Marine Corps? He said, I didn't join the Marines to make money. I joined to defend our country.
Thank you.
And I just thought that was so beautiful. And it was telling him about some of the other programs that do, and I'm going to lead to Reach Across America. He goes, that's a great program. I want to contribute because these are the veterans that are buried in the cemetery. These are the people that should be remembered.
These are the future me is what he should be thinking.
Yeah. He goes, those were all old military. I mean, he did it respectfully, meaning the old Corps, the old Navy, and contributed a wreath to make sure they're all covered. So I just want to give people an update. We kind of hit it. We're installed right now. We're still at 655. And I just want to let people know that we're still out there doing it. And they can still contact me at cmarks3@ec.rr.com, especially if you're having problems getting on the site. A couple of people have had a problem with that. Call me. We'll work through it. If you have some issues, my information is on Live and Local Real Talk's site.
We're here. Yep.
So we need to keep it going, folks. You folks have done so wonderful. Our group, I call it our group, have done extremely well. We're the top of the class for this area, and we need to keep it moving. And I just want to let everybody know that I thank them again, and I will go back to my daily posting, reminding people, wreaths, and $17. 5 of that will go to the purchase of another wreath. So
you get a wreath for $12, and you get and another wreath is on the way.
Another wreath, yep. So 3.5 wreaths will provide for another one.
Gotcha.
Basically, it's how it's going to work out on this one. I just want to mention, I know we're on time. Got another call going on, so I want to say thank you all again, and have a blessed day.
Thank you, sir.
You
Appreciate
too,
it.
Chris.
Thanks.
And Charlie just hung up, so it may be a call right back here.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, we have a time for maybe one more call.
And there he is.
And maybe he's back. Good morning. You're live and local.
Morning, Charlie.
Charlie.
Can you hear me?
Got you out
Yeah, we
loud and
can
clear
hear
now.
you
Go ahead,
good.
sir.
So I'm not sure if you guys have been following what Trump has been doing the last few days with the CIA, the FBI, and the U.S. aid. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, he's cleaning the house.
Yes.
Cleaning
Isn't he really?
Getting rid of the dead wood.
Oh, yes.
But I'm fascinated by this one agency called the U.S. Aid. It's the United
Yes.
States Agency for International Development.
Yeah.
I had some facts that I wanted to present to you. I guess that through Elon Musk or whoever's investigating this agency. Where are my facts? I think it's like a $28 billion agency.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of money that they distribute throughout the world is super disturbing. It says right here, the independent government agency distributes billions of dollars in global aid from women's health to clean water, HIV/AIDS treatment, energy security, anti-corruption work. I had a whole list of things that they contribute money to. I saw something that's like upwards of $100 million to a road in a foreign country that led to nowhere. It was something like $10 million to Syrian transgendered acceptance type people. 50 million to another organization that it's like, wait a minute, what? Why are our tax dollars giving this money for this organization? 100 million to another organization, 500 million to another organization. The key are the kickbacks.
Yeah,
Who are the people?
that's what
that
I
are
would
getting
ask
this
you,
money.
Charlie. Being
Go ahead.
being a
Go ahead.
former nosy person, which I still am, but not quite as aggressive as I used to be, I would look at this and say, what is in it for me? And then when I say what is in it for me, I'm talking about me as in this country. But I'm guarantee you that the people who are supporting it, that are pushing it, who have started it, they are saying, oh, guess what's in it for me, as in me personally. They are getting something for our contribution. There's something wrong.
Did you happen to see? He's from New York. His name is Raskin, and the woman
Raskin.
from Minnesota that wears the thing over her head. I think she's a Muslim.
Yes.
They actually went to that office in Washington D.C. and they wanted to enter that office, and they were denied entry. Did you see that video?
Did not.
I did not see that, but
Why were they denied?
Okay.
Why were they denied entry?
Because Doge, Elon Musk's business, has taken over that whole organization. They've locked up everybody. They've shut down every email. So Chuck Schumer and a bunch of other high-ranking Democrats knocked on the door of that business. It's kind of bizarre. You guys should pull that clip of that office. They tried to get in, and they were denied entry. Turns out that there's like 5 or 10. From my understanding, I may be incorrect. Elon Musk has got these kids between the ages of like 18 and 25 years of age that are brilliant so-called decoders. They're able to look at that's done on a computer, and they can break it down into a simple. And evidently, they're breaking it down, and there's this massive. What's the word when you steal and you take it?
Embezzlement?
What I'm looking for? What's that word?
embezzling.
Scamming is what you're looking for.
Really, yeah. The whole thing is corrupt. And now Chuck Schumer, I guess a leading Democrat spokesman, is saying, why are we allowing Elon Musk to take over this? I guarantee you they're going to find extraordinary fraud. And all these billions of dollars that were given to these countries, and it's going to be kickbacks to a lot of these senators. And I wish I could have more facts to present to you. I can't find
I've got
exactly
the
what I was
story
looking
right
for.
here.
How about the CIA? Do you see that Trump asked everybody in the CIA to resign or take like a 10-month pension? Did you see that?
I don't think he asked everybody. I think he asked some top brass up there to go get away. Political appointees.
No. He asked 20. No. I think he asked 28,000 employees of the CIA to take a severance package. They're going to get 10 months free payments and insurance to resign. It's 20. No, I'm serious. I think that's what it is exactly.
I'll have to look at that one because that would be a problem.
Everything, FBI, the CIA, everything.
Yeah,
clean house.
they're offering early outs for a lot of federal employees. I did know that. I mean, every time there was a budget cut or a budget crunch, same thing with the Postal Service, they were offering those that were eligible for early outs, which is, you'll get your retirement, you get a little bit of a bonus if you'll go now. So that's primarily what they're offering. A lot of those people don't even.
Did you see that they sent an email to all the people in the FBI asking them what their involvement was with regards to January 6th?
Yes, it did.
No, yeah, I think he's in a clean house, and I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, it just depends upon how deep a lot of people in the Bureau and the FBI, and I'm sure the CIA and some other organizations that are. They're what a good friend of ours calls brick agents, people that actually get out there and do the work. And then you got the bureaucrats that stand in the way, the obstructionists that stand in the way of these guys getting the job done. That's what's happening.
I saw something where it said something about 35 or 40% of the FBI was involved in investigating those involved in the January 6th situation that happened at the Capitol. Think about that.
I know there were a lot of them involved. There should not have been.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting to hear you give a breakdown after you read it and understand everything, because of your involvement in law enforcement, your thoughts, your opinions. I'd like to hear that.
Okay. Well, I would take a look at
Anyway,
it.
that's it. I mean, I think it's a lot. Anyway, I'm not sure if I made any sense, but I think there's a lot going on in the country right now.
There is a lot.
Oh, there's a lot.
All right, Charlie. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, guys.
Take
have a good
care.
day.
I researched that story he was talking about, and there was a whole bunch of stories, but I ended up having to weed through the media sources that I have no clue who they are. And it says a group of Senate and House Democrats were blocked from entering the headquarters of the U.S. Agency for International Development, which, as you said, on Monday. The Democratic lawyers who were opposed to President Trump's efforts to shut down the agency left without incident after a brief exchange with security officials. The group, led by Senator Chris Van Hollen, Democrat, Maryland, were told the front office of the administrator of USAID was not available to meet.
Okay.
That was basically it.
Okay, here's a story. I'm not even sure. Let me see who wrote this one. Daily Mail, probably. Daily Mail. CIA has offered buyouts to its entire workforce in a bid to align with President Donald Trump's ambition to purge government departments. CIA agents who accept the buyout conditions would receive 8 months of pay along with all their benefits and entitlements in exchange for their resignations. 2 million federal employees were last week offered a generous buyout scheme under the new Trump administration as he's looking to cut waste and reshape federal offices across the nation. That, of course, is an opinion offered by the Daily Mail. The agency does not disclose its budget or the number of people it employs, and it cannot. It cannot. It better not. There have been some names that have been leaked in the past that created some issues. A CIA spokeswoman told the Wall Street Journal that the decision to offer the buyout broadly across the whole department was part of an effort to infuse the agency with renewed energy. That doesn't mean he has told them to get out. It doesn't mean he wants them gone. It means he would like those who probably feel like their heads are on the chopping block or that they've done nothing. You know that in any agency or any organization, there are people in there who know that they're not doing the job that they're supposed to be doing.
Right.
Whether it's the post office, whether it's at a TV station, whether it's wherever. I've known people working. They knew they weren't doing the job. They knew they couldn't cut the mustard. They just hung on because there wasn't enough grounds to fire them.
Well, doing budget cuts and offering federal employees early outs, it's a common thing.
It's happened a lot.
It happens a lot. I've seen it happen over the years. It's nothing new. Nothing new. Is it a little bit probably more this year because usually they pick certain departments or whatever, but
quite often at the top of a political organization or a major organization like that, you're going to find people that have been promoted that didn't deserve to be in the positions they're in. Let me give you an example one more time. Our friend John Legato, retired special agent with the FBI, knows. He's told us on here about 9/11. Prior to 9/11, prior to the attack on this country on 9/11, agents in Minnesota knew. They had intel. They had good sources telling about a plot to fly planes into buildings.
yes.
Terrorists going to fly planes into buildings, and their immediate supervisor, that can't happen. And never sent it up the road. Nobody knew, nobody investigated except them in Minnesota. Guess where that agent that ignored it was? He was promoted. He's in the upper echelon of the FBI. That's his claim to fame. That guy should be strung up, laid out there for everybody to know and see. That cost us a war and 3,000 Americans on 9/11. That's the kind of stuff that needs to go. They do not need to be promoting. It's like, what is it in school? When you can't cut the mustard, you're a jerk in a lower class, in the 4th grade or the 5th grade or the 6th grade. You can't do the work. They give you something to get you out of their hair for the next year. It's called a social promotion. That's what some of these clowns are getting. They're getting socially promoted in their organizations because they couldn't cut the mustard doing what they were doing.
I have certainly seen some of what you're saying over the years of being in the workforce.
Whether it's in the post office or any other organization.
Sometimes, and I've also
State government needs
seen
to do the same thing.
someone promoted strictly because of the color of their skin
Of
or their
course.
sex.
Yep.
Seen that. I have witnessed where a person may not be doing their job like it should be done, and but they are not confronted by upper management because, well, that person is of such a color, or maybe a female versus male, and we know if we say anything, there'll be suits, and so we let it go. I've seen that. I've witnessed that.
At the CIA, they have already paused. They're not hiring anybody to fill any vacancies that they have.
Well, they don't need to.
They're going to reorganize. I'm sure of it. Have no doubt about it. They're going to put maybe somebody in. Well, they have somebody in there that's been there before. They're going to put people in there that came up through the ranks. They're going to promote people who deserve to be promoted, who know what it's like, knows what it's like on the bottom end, and not some political bureaucrat payback for something that he or she did for the president or for anybody else politically. And the CIA has already sent out letters to a lot of people, conditional offers to people.
Right.
They rescinded those. They pulled them back. They say, nope, we cannot. Forget about it. We're not hiring right now. So the offers that we offered are no longer on the table.
Right.
You might want to look for a job somewhere else.
Well, it's just like going back to what I was just discussing. If somebody's not doing their job, base it on the fact they're not doing their job. Not according to you feel like they are a minority. If you say anything, you're going to cause
that
it.
happens.
Everyone needs to go into their work environment and do the very best they can, regardless. And that's the way I look at it. Now, I will say that being a former supervisor over employees, not everybody works the same. Not everybody is the same speed, the same caliber. They're good workers, but they can't do what this one over here can do. And you have to take all that into consideration. But when you see somebody that's making a lot of money and they're extremely lazy and they're not doing their job because they're being lazy, that's a whole different thing.
Yeah, if you're just keeping them on to let them coast, or because they've got two kids at home, or because they've got this or they've got that, I'm sorry, their problems, you try to help them out with them while you're employing them. But if they can't do the job because of their problems, well, they can't do the job.
Right.
They don't need to be paid. They don't need to be on the payroll. If you have to hire somebody else to pick up the slack because this person's not getting the job done, you're paying two people. Wrong.
Exactly.
You're paying two people with my money. I resent it. Sorry.
Rafi, did you know yesterday continued protest in Los Angeles?
Bless their
people
hearts.
protesting ICE and the deportation. Yesterday afternoon, several hundred high school kids from Marshall High School in that area left school to go help protest.
Well, you're out of school. You
you
lost
know
a
what?
day.
I would be giving them a big fat zero for the day.
Absolutely suspended.
Yes. Do they even know what they're protesting?
They care.
You go to
Whatever.
school, stay in school, get your education, then go protest. But actually left school, and I do hope the school takes action on that.
A fatal virus has reportedly been discovered in shrews in
God.
Alabama, sparking concerns about potential contagions to humans.
Do we have to wear a mask?
The Camp Hill virus, thought to be the first Henipavirus in North America was discovered by researchers at the University of Queensland. This is a virus from zoonotic, which means it can be spread from animals to humans.
Oh, no.
It's a virus that can be spread from animals to humans.
Wow. Huh.
Henipavirus, that's what it's got, have caused serious disease and death in people and animals in other regions.
What?
Oh my, it's a fatal virus. We've had one in the United States that killed somebody.
And it originated from overseas? Is that what you said?
The closest known Nipah virus to Camp Hill virus that has caused disease in humans is crossed from shrews to humans. And guess where? Guess what country?
China?
China.
God. Did you
China.
save all your masks from when we had to wear? I saved
Another
all mine.
dangerous Nipah virus is the
Yeah.
Hendra virus, which was first detected in Brisbane, Australia, has a fatality rate of 70%. You get it?
Well,
70% of you are going to die.
what are the symptoms, please? Because I just suddenly developed a
You got
sinus
something
headache.
for all of them. I'm looking for
symptoms.
the Camp Hill virus was detected in northern short-tailed shrews, a small mammal that is commonly found in the United States and Canada. Really? More research is needed to determine whether the virus poses any threat to humans. We got one person who's died. I would say that's a clue. It poses a threat to humans.
I'm not even going to get into this discussion on, well, maybe they had poor immunity or maybe it's not really a virus.
Those at highest risk.
Maybe it's the government doing it.
Those at highest risk of contracted this Nipah virus are travelers who are exposed to infected animals, primarily bats and pigs, or who eat foods contaminated by those animals' body fluids, according to the Center for Disease Control.
Oh my
Healthcare
gosh.
workers treating infected patients are also at a higher risk. You ever seen one of those little shrews that looks like a bat?
No, I
A ground
can't
bat.
say that I have because I was completely at a loss when you started with that story.
I'm like, really?
A shrew.
No specific antiviral treatment for Nipah virus infections, according to the same source. Therapy consists of supportive care and management of complications and prepare them for death.
Only shrews I've seen are the two-legged kind.
Yeah, I met her. Okay, that's it for today. Tomorrow we've got we're going to talk sports tomorrow.
We've got a good story that I want to ask Chris about. Some legislation that's in the works, and I can't wait
Deals with North Carolina high schools.
Can't wait to see what our professor, the man of knowledge, has to say. Get his take on it.
I thought we were talking about Chris.
Yeah.
I'm kidding, Chris. I'm kidding. Yes, Chris
He's the
Miller will be
best.
joining us for Miller
right.
Time tomorrow, and we're going to
Right.
be we'll be finding out all about this legislation. So, Chris, if you don't know about it, you better brush up. If you don't know what it is, call Lee.
I
I
know,
know he knows what
that
it is.
he will know because he's on top of it
If I
all.
know a little bit, he knows a lot.
If I just know about it,
That's
I know
what I
he
mean.
knows everything about it. So
We'll see you tomorrow morning at 7
Right.
o'clock right here on Live and Local. Do not forget Friday. Set your clocks.
you've got to.
You need to get up and get ready. Get
Must see.
2 cups of coffee before 7 o'clock. Because
bringing it
shortly
up.
after 7 o'clock,
Yeah.
we've got a couple of people going to be in here. They're going to be here for the duration. We will not be taking any phone calls unless it's one that we know is coming in that he's
Mhm.
arranged.
Mhm.
Okay. So that's going to be
It's
it
gonna be a
on
good
Friday
show.
morning. And it's going to be as long as they want to talk. There's a huge likely problem occurring that involves a big portion of this immediate area in the legal system, or as some people will call it in this case, the criminal injustice system. Not everybody, just an element or two. We'll see you on Thursday morning first, and then
Yeah.
again on Friday morning. We'll lock the doors and chain the boat.
Hump day. We're almost there. We're almost through the week.
You're
Okay.
live and local Real Talk, where we're always awake, never woke. We'll see you in the morning.
Bye.